So you know what I was thinking? Why not wait? Okay. Oh, thank you. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking that I've been posting a lot of Minecraft videos. As for like these many Minecraft videos a day. Bro, I just sneezed like 4 times. That's why I sound like so like not drowsy. That's what I sound like. So don't mind that. So yeah, we're gonna be reacting to Storytime animated videos. This one's called "My Teacher Wanted to Fight Me for Cheating," and this was by Yo808. It has 118k. You guys want to check him out? Check him out. Let's get into it. So we're just gonna chill, have a good time, get your popcorn, get your whatever you want to drink, and let's get into it.
Rodman slams his desk. He makes direct eye contact with me. He's peering into the depths of my soul. He gets up. I step on my phone. Hey! Who's... If there's one thing that we all have in common, it's that no matter how good of a student you are, you're gonna cheat or you've cheated before. But I am absolutely appalled that you would dare make that assumption. Hey, don't lie to me. Shh. I know you've done it, okay? I mean, unless you're like a gifted natural genius who's in like senior AP college level classes as a teenager, in that case, drugs. You do drugs. But we all cheat or have cheated in school, at least at the high school level. And bro, I'm no exception to that, okay? I was a perfect angel in school. But even people like me, perfect people, have cheated in school. My mom was one of those moms who always checked their kids' grades like on the school report card app thing because she loved me and cared about my education. I'm sure if I didn't do good on a test or if my grades weren't up to par, I'm 100% positive that she would just take me, sit me down, grab my textbook, and shove it down my freaking throat, just in there, 3 hits, pow, pow, pow. You're gonna get this knowledge one way or another. Yeah, if you were living with my mom, you definitely had A's and B's. I remember the night before I had this English test that I just knew for a fact I wasn't prepared for. And I also knew that spending hours in my textbook looking over the material so I can pass the test and further digest the information internally so I can use it later in life, aka studying, would just not be as effective as spending even more hours trying to find the questions and answers to the test early and writing the questions down somewhere discreet in order to use it on the test, only to forget the information the next day, therefore rendering my entire education useless, aka cheating. And I also knew I didn't want a textbook shoved halfway down my esophagus, so I decided to cheat on this upcoming test. My task was to somehow find a way to get access to the questions on the test. Luckily for me, I had a friend who had taken the test the day before me, but since he had failed, he had to retake the test, and that means he already had his graded paper.
Dang.
A paper which I grabbed with the absolute swiftness, okay? Hey, you can't get mad at me, okay? You know the saying.
Okay.
The second rat always gets the cheese, so I expeditiously take this paper home. The plan was to cram all 80 questions of the test onto a small index card just so I can have it under my paper as I took the test. Simple enough. Yeah, simple enough. Yeah, simple enough. Simple enough. After spending hours of giving myself arthritis attempting to cram all 80 of these questions onto this small index card, I was done and I was hyped for this test, man. I could practically taste the A+ grade. So I'm actually gassed to go to school the next day. I set my alarm clock and the alarm on my phone to 6 a.m. on the dot. I even do the thing where you turn the volume all the way up on your phone and play like 1 second of a random video, just to make sure your phone volume's up all the way. I was not going to be late to school. So I go to sleep, I get up the next day, I head to class, and the papers are handed to us. I look around and I see all the fatigue and stress on the faces of my fellow classmates. This was a pretty big test, so I'm sure everyone spent hours and hours awake last night. And
yeah, I would have been nervous too.
Couldn't be me, man. Imagine doing schoolwork at 3 a.m. What freaking nerds? I look at my test, I grin, I grab my cheat sheet out of my pocket, and I am absolutely focused. I'm so zoned in fact, that I see red. Not red as in laser focus, oh no. I mean red as in the big, fat F that's gonna be on my test paper, because the test that I had was completely different than the one that my friend gave me. I'm practically figuring out different ways to roll up my textbook so I don't choke on page 7 of Lord of the Flies when my mom shoves it into my trachea. But in a desperate attempt to save my GPA, and more importantly, my freaking windpipe, I type in one of the test questions onto Google on my phone. And I am blessed to find a Quizlet with all the answers of the test, word for word, bar for bar. So I am saved. I take my phone out, I put it in my book bag, but before I could even start the test, I realized something. I never turned down my phone volume after I turned it all the way up for my alarm this morning. If I get one notification, it's a wrap. My forehead is covered in sweat. I look down at the ticking time bomb that is in my book bag. Now I'm just so worried that my phone's going to go off from a notification.
My heart would have been like racing, dude. Like, woo! Alright. So far, I like his animations. I like them. Let's carry on.
Which, as the goofy simp that I was in high school, it definitely wasn't. But in the moment, I'm so worried about my phone going off that I forgot which side of my phone had the volume button. So I press and hold on the right side of my phone, and Siri goes off, and immediately the teacher looks up, but he can't quite pinpoint where the sound is coming from. So I just, let me just answer right here. Oh, number 3, I'm on that. And pretend I actually know what I'm doing until he looks away. I'm safe, but I have zero room for error. My threat level is definitely in the yellow.
Wow.
But I'm already in pretty deep, so I keep going. But this time, instead of having my phone in my book bag, I put on my hoodie and put my phone inside said hoodie, along with my left arm, so when I need to see my phone, all I need to do is look down. I get to this fill in the blank section, so I place my phone on my lap to fill the answer, and then my phone falls on the ground. There is a certain
there's a certain noise
a phone makes when it hits the ground that makes it undeniably obvious that it's a phone. Maybe if this was a math class, I could have capped and said I dropped my calculator, but the only thing that I need to calculate is the width of my jaw compared to my textbook. I'm gonna keep doubling down on this textbook joke, aren't I? Dude, we get it. You don't need to keep shoving it down our throats. Hey. Nice. So my phone falls and just begins doing trapeze flips on the ground with perfect form, mind you. Each fall just gave it more momentum to spin even longer and just to make so much noise. Oh, okay, it had no reason at all to be falling for this long. It was just so loud and drawn out. But now Mr. Rodman, that's the name I'm giving him, now he knows that it came from my table. He gets up. I step on my phone. Hey! Whose phone was that? He's asking the table, but he's staring bullets at me. He looks at the girl who's sitting next to me, who very obviously knows by now that I'm cheating or attempting to cheat. He looks at her with absolute death in his eyes. Whose phone was that? She looks at him. She looks at me. I know that she knows. She then turns and says, "Oh, actually, I was just paying attention to my test. I really don't know. I'm sorry." He grunts and sits down. Threat level red. I'm standing on my phone at this point, but when I tell you my mom is going to kill me if I don't pass this test, I mean that. So I have no choice but to continue cheating. Or you could have studied. There's no turning back, so I drop my pencil, I pick up my phone, and continue taking my test. I scroll to the next question on my phone, and time itself stands still. Out of nowhere, you can visibly see the tension in the room, and it's coming from my direction. At this point, everyone in the classroom is staring directly at me. The girl who had just stuck her neck out for me is now looking into my eyes with so much disappointment and despair. Why? Well, I guess when my phone dropped, the ringer flipped on, because when I scrolled to that next question,
whom does Lady Macbeth frame for the murder of Duncan?
The freaking text-to-speech goes off.
Bro.
Mr. Rodman slams his desk. He makes direct eye contact with me. He's peering into the depths of my soul. I know that he knows. Literally, everyone knows. Everyone knows. Only the right side of the classroom knows. Everyone knows. But before he can even say anything, the assistant principal walks in the room.
What's even worse?
The assistant principal. My life's over. My life's over. I'm going to die here. I am done. If they call my mom, I will definitely be digesting Chapter 7 of The Great Gatsby. I'm sure of it. Mr. Rodman looks into my eyes for another bone-chilling 5 seconds and sits down. We had just got a new assistant principal, and I guess he was observing the class, and it wouldn't really be beneficial for either of us if the assistant principal's first impression of both of us was a cheating scandal. So yeah, I bombed the test that day. I'm talking no more than a 13. I only answered like 3 out of the 80 questions. I promise you I had absolutely no clue what was going on in that class. I guess since I got such a bad grade on the test, Mr. Rodman figured that that was punishment enough, so the cheating thing was never brought up again, but the hammer of wrath from my mom when she saw my grade was definitely brought down. Mr. Rodman!
Oh, my bad. Well, dang. Let's watch another one of this guy. This guy is actually really good at animating.
Tranquility.
Alright, so we're watching Losing a Fight.
Harmony.
Dang, it's loud.
Peace. Very few things in this world compare to these states of being, be it the silence of nature, the camaraderie amongst fellow man, but of all these things, none can compare to the bliss that is harmony amongst men of the same blood. Oh yes, there is nothing more soothing than the bond of fellow siblings. I would like to introduce you guys to my younger brother, who I love and adore, but I'm fairly certain if we were any animal besides human, we would be something like 2 monkeys of different species in 2 different jungles on opposite sides of the planet. We are 2 very different people having almost little to nothing in common. The thing about my brother is he gets mad quite easily, and when the often occurrence of him getting upset happens, it happens. Meaning he goes from an innocent and happy child to an actual supervillain with years of pure rage and apathy towards like everything built up inside. Just one look into his eyes can give you the willpower to just like bite directly into an onion or something. I made a much edgier joke, but I took it out when I was editing the script. Anyway, the look in his eyes is just pure evil. Body which he's obviously grown out of and is now almost bigger than me. Thank goodness he mellowed down a bit, or I would have gotten clapped a long time ago. Why would I have gotten clapped? Well, because I'm a clown, man. Memes run through my veins. See, I don't get mad often, but when I do, it's probably because whenever I'm editing, my mouse keeps giving me a gang wheel. But me getting actually angry is quite a rare occurrence, honestly. So when my brother gets mad, 9 times out of 10, I'm not. So I just instigate. There's something hilarious about someone getting insanely upset with you and you're just clowning. It's beautiful. If we go back to the story about me pushing my brother into that pond with the alligator in it, while we were definitely just innocently skipping rocks, I do, however, remember him being a little peeved at me. I don't remember why, but I do remember he was skipping rocks on the other side of the pond. So that means I manifested the idea of pushing him in the pond because I wanted to see his reaction. Walked along the pond, had all that time to reevaluate and rethink what I was going to do. I visibly saw the alligator and I still did it because he was mad and I thought pushing him would be funny.
Dang, that's just messed
and
up,
it was.
honestly,
So fast forward a couple years and we're upstairs doing laundry on the bed. My brother was once again mad at me for some reason that I do. I was a completely different person than I was back then. So his head violently hit the corner of the futon and then he hit his face on the floor. He was just minding his business, chilling, and he gets pushed off of a high bed into a futon onto the floor. So to anyone who has younger siblings, they know very well how this went. Oh, stop, yo, I'm sorry, yo. Please don't cry. Oh no, he did many things in the next 30 seconds, but cry he did not. I look over from my laughter, of course.
Why were you laughing? He could have died.
And I see the
Why were
look
you
of pure
laughing?
anger, rage, and evil. Dude, are you good? My bad, man.
Whoa, buddy.
You're fine, dude. You're fine. Yo, come on, lighten up. You barely get Yo, relax. It was just a joke.
The pain you have inflicted on me will now be repaid 10 times over.
Bro, back up. Calm down. It was just a joke. Mom. Have you ever gotten into a fist fight with your younger brother? Like an actual fight, going
Really?
blow for blow, fully intended to connect
Bro.
violent hits. It's kinda sad because the same child you grew up with is now on the receiving end of wrath you wouldn't even wish upon your
Dang,
closest
bruh.
of friends. Have you ever lost a fight to your younger sibling? Man, he beat the brakes off of me! I just wasn't ready for the sheer
was
strength
loud.
and rage that he unleashed upon my poor body. And that's not even the worst part. Just to flex, he finished it off like this. I was dazed and on the ground, and I thought it was over, so I sat up and turned around and... No, this black screen isn't me being lazy and not wanting to animate. Well, kinda, but this is exactly what I saw at the moment that he did something to me that I will never forget. What the heck? Is that a light? Am I dead? No, that's the dresser right there. Is something on my head?
It's on your head.
I then realized that the light that I had seen was not the light that you see when you near the gates of death. Oh no.
What was on your head?
This was much worse. It was a hole in a pair of someone's dirty underwear. This man is not
come
human.
on.
Not only did he beat the snot out of a guy nearly twice his size at the time, but then he proceeded to excellently burn the message of this altercation into his opponent's brain.
Wow.
Like, what do you do after someone beats the snot out of you and puts dirty underwear on your head while you're down? There's no time.
Imagine the smell. Imagine the smell. That would smell so bad. Oh. That would smell so bad.
Stopping that. There's no walking away from that. Bravo. But yo, happy birthday to my younger brother, man. Don't get it twisted though. I'll still fold you. You just caught me off guard. Tranquility.
Wow. Bro. That was crazy. He put underwear on top of his head. Alright, so we're watching another one. Shout out to The Odds First Out. This video has 65 million views, so it has to be good. Let's see. It was posted March 30, 2016. Let's see what we got. Alright? Let's see what we got.
Some point in their life should work in a fast food or retail job. Not to improve their work ethic or anything, but so that everyone knows what it's like to have that kind of job. They wouldn't work in fast food their whole lives, maybe just like for 6 months, just so they get a feel for it. So with that, let's talk about the time when I worked in fast food. I used to work at a very small local sandwich shop. I don't know if any of you guys heard of it. It's called Subway. Our spokesperson was in the news recently. I don't know if you guys look at the news. Did you hear he got beat up in jail? I kind of want to meet the person who beat up Jared more than Jared. Not in person. We wouldn't meet in person, obviously. But like, he would be behind bars, and I would just look at the guy who beat up my spokesperson. How many people get to say that they beat up a fast food icon who is also a pedophile? Only one, and it's that guy. Okay, but seriously guys, working at Subway was probably one of the most easiest jobs out there. I don't know why I'm about to complain about it to you guys. We got free cookies. And you know the comic with the Subways in Hell? I was actually working at Subway when I made that comic. I just think it adds sort of a little bit of value to it. You see, the owners, who are husband and wife, can you believe it, of the Subway I worked at owned 2 stores. One of the Subway stores was in a Walmart on an Indian reservation, because we have those in Arizona, and the other Subway was the Subway I worked at. And since the Walmart store was always busy, the owners would spend 99% of their time at that store. So I didn't really have a boss most of the time. On the off chance the owners did show up, they would just pick up some food and then they would make sure I was making sandwiches the right way. And every time I made a sandwich in front of them, they would always find something wrong with it, without fail. You put on too many olives. Do you know according to the Subway formula, you're only supposed to put on 8 olives on a foot long? 8! One for every other bite. That's just ridiculous. Can you imagine someone just counting out 8 olives? Nobody does that. I usually worked the closing shift, and at the end of the night, we would turn the alarm and we have 60 seconds to get out of the store. But one time I had the opening shift, so I unlocked the door to get in with my key, and the alarm went beep, beep, meaning I had 60 seconds to turn it off. No big deal, right? I've turned the alarm on all the time when I was closing. So I go to the little control panel and I type in the code and nothing happens. The beeping is still there and the clock is still ticking down. So I go, okay, I'm going to press each button very carefully. I'm going to make sure each button makes a beep when I press it. Beep, beep, beep. Nothing still happens. So I go, okay, I'm going to make sure to press each button very carefully. And I start thinking, did they change the passcode without telling me? Well, this is the only passcode I know, so we're just going to try it again. And I press each button very carefully. Beep, beep,
Okay.
beep. And it goes quiet. And then the alarm goes off. I still had like 20 seconds left. But I guess when you get it wrong 3 times, it automatically assumes that you're a burglar. So while the alarm is going off, I look on the contact sheet for the owner's cell phone number. I step outside, I call him, and he doesn't pick up. So I go back inside, find the number for the other Subway store. They open an hour before we do. Someone picks up with their stupid voice. Oh, thank you for calling Subway. I'm blah, 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 blah. How may I help you? And I go, hey, is Mike there? That's not his real name, guys. Don't worry. And they go, just a minute. Yeah, sure. I have all the time in the world. The cops might be on their way, but take your time. So Mike picks up. Yellow. Hey, Mike, this is James. What's the passcode for the alarm? Who is this? It's James. What's the passcode? What are you doing there, James? Why aren't you answering the question? I have the opening shift. Is the alarm going off? Yeah, no one told me the new code. Yeah, we changed it. It's the last 4 digits of your social security number. Oh, okay. Thanks, Mike. I don't know my social security number. So I finally get the alarm off. No one showed up, thankfully. Which
Wait,
I actually don't know if that's...
How does he know his social security number? So weird boss.
break your entire shift. It wasn't the annoying customers. I kind of got used to annoying customers. So I worked with a lot of crappy people. And I also worked with a lot of people who I would probably never become friends with except in a work setting. You see, you gotta understand the type of people who got jobs at Subway. Potheads. Most of them are potheads. And some of them are really cool. I'm just going to go over a couple of the characters that I worked with. There was Tyler. I freaking love this guy. He smoked a lot of weed. He actually taught me what vaping was,
Dang.
and he got me into Clash of Clans. I actually mentioned him and his girlfriend in my Riddles video. I don't know if I ever told him that. And of course, I have to mention Corey. He was cool. We watched How to Get Away with Murder on Netflix, and I've also hung out with him outside of work. What him and Tyler had in common is that they would actually do their job, which there was Sarah. She was cool. She made me a bread bowl. And her boyfriend, Jay. He talked about chakras and third eyes. He was interesting. And also, there's Anthony. He's cool. What's up, Anthony? For the 100,000
He probably talked about Zodiac too, huh? He probably did.
Sprinkles video, I actually went back to Subway to use their scale because I knew they had one. And we counted 500 sprinkles again just to be more accurate for the 100,000. And Anthony helped me count instead of working. I mean, at least he got paid minimum wage for it. So 2 more stories before I go. One time, Jared asked me to take out this pile of trash, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just put this pile of trash in the dumpster. And as I was taking it out, I saw that there was a chip poster in the pile, and I thought, this is too cool to throw away. I'm gonna keep it. So I took it home with me, and then the next day when I went in, people were saying, oh, where's the chip poster? We can't find the chip poster. We haven't seen it anywhere. And I'm thinking, I have the poster. I decided not to tell anyone that I had the poster. And it's still hanging up in my room. Sorry, boss, if you're finding out about this now. Okay, and then the other story, I was working with a manager and we were just making sandwiches like usual. And I noticed that when we toasted a sandwich, it would burn the paper a little on the edges. That probably shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
So then a customer asks for just bacon toasted. And the boss lady puts some bacon on paper and then puts it in the toaster. And we don't have a setting for just bacon. So then when she opens the toaster, there was a fire on the bacon. So then she starts to whack it with the little metal tray thing, but all she ended up doing was fanning the flames, making the fire bigger. You got this, right? Then I went in the back and I got the fire extinguisher and I actually used it. I single-handedly saved that Subway.
Yeah, he did.
Wait, what have I done? Is it okay if the bacon's a little crispy? And has nitrogen and carbon dioxide stuff on it?
Nitrogen and carbon dioxide.
I didn't even mention a single bad customer experience. Well, I don't want the video to be too long. I should make a part 2. I'm gonna...
Dang, that was... Oh my god. Excuse me. That was some good story time. You know what I'm saying? Okay, guys, I think I have to wrap it up right here. Hope you guys enjoyed this little story time video. You know, change it up a little bit. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe, leave a like. You know, share, put that post notifications on, you know, keep it real with y'all. And yeah, we'll be posting some Warzone on Monday. Yeah. So yeah, you know, stay safe out there and, you know, stay vibing. Hope you guys have a good day. Bye.